Hey guys, this is Jenn and Julien, and you're listening to X Appeal Season 2, Episode 3. Yeah.
Do you have a movie voice? Season 2.
No, not really. Like, if I were to talk to on trailer?
Like a movie trailer voice, yeah.
I mean, I guess it'd be the cliche.
In a world.
Yeah, in a world. where no one lives.
In a world where people...
I was thinking of something, so... It's when I'm, I told you that I've been becoming more and more of a fan of weed. And
yeah, you're like a little pothead now.
Now, yeah. And when I'm high, I get these like ideas for like videos or stuff that just comes to my mind. I'm like, oh man, this is hilarious. So then I write them down. And then when I'm not high, I read them and I'm like,
wait, okay. Yeah. I need some Julien weed thoughts. Right. Weed thoughts by Julien.
Listen, 2 thoughts that I had yesterday.
Okay, let's hear it.
So one things, first of all, that I realized is when I'm high, music hits different.
Oh yeah, is that the whole point?
On music, like it's insane. So then yesterday I was cooking and I have a playlist called Pop Music, which is like all the like cheesy kind of pop songs that are kind of like you don't want to like them, but they're good.
Are they modern pop songs or are they like pop throughout the decades?
It's like a little bit of everything. Like, you have some Shawn Mendes, you have some Camila Cabello, you have a little bit of all that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And yesterday,
I love it.
I'm cooking and One Direction, What Makes You Beautiful pops on.
Yeah.
And I was vibing so hard to that song. I was like, man, this shit is a fucking banger. And one thing that make me think is like, I don't care where you're from. I don't care who you are. I don't care what sexuality you have. You have to admit that One Direction, What Makes You Beautiful is a fucking banger.
That was a weed thought?
Yeah, that was a weed thought. I was like, I don't care where you're from. If you hear the melody, you cannot not dance.
But that's like a I feel like pop songs, there's like the
recipe.
A recipe for it.
Yeah, there's a recipe. Akon
like
has
bangers.
one.
Like if it gets stuck, there's a reason that certain songs get stuck in your ear.
Of course. Yeah. So that was a weed thought. And then I had another one, which is just random, but it just popped in my head. I was like, I feel like every kind of hero movies, any type of movie that ends well, the main character who wins always says something like, you know why? It's because I believe in people. Isn't it so true? Right at the end, it's like, because I believe in people.
You know why? Because I believe in people.
And I was like, I was laughing alone. I was like, oh man,
it's really funny.
This is so funny.
I need you to keep writing these down. And I feel like every episode we should open with Weed Thoughts by Julien.
A thought, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. You know what's even more catchier than pop songs are children's songs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I'm sure.
Look high in the sky, it's a school, it can fly. Let's all hurry to the flying fairy school. Grab your wand, bring your wings.
Yeah, it's not as catchy as One Direction. I'm sorry.
He's getting excited.
Oh.
I'll be singing like Elmo songs now, fucking Flying Fairy School songs, Sesame Streets in my head all the time until my ears are bleeding.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. It is.
Nightmare. It really does. By the way, we forgot to talk. You baller with your new car. What the?
Yeah, baby. I wanted to make up for the abuse that my previous car took on the road.
Insane.
Yeah. I kind of love it. It is a ballsy car, and people are like kind of shocked that I have an RS5.
It's an RS5. This is insane.
Mm-hmm. They're like,
so
it's too manly for you.
Whole process. Did you just call him again, or you just showed up?
I texted him letting him know that I was coming over. And it was me and Jared, and we just went over to the Audi in Beverly Hills and shopped around and kind of like, did some financing, like whatever was in my little price range. And it was like a slight bump from where I was, definite bump in insurance. But yeah, I mean, they had one that was that style and a silver that I thought looked like in my old silver.
Black.
Yeah, that I thought it didn't look as good. It almost looked like Fast and the Furious bullshit. Like I had something done to it. Whereas the Daytona gray, it kind of all blends. So it's like a badass
But
I feel like I'm driving the Batmobile now.
I remember your first car, you had like issues because all these people were giving you insane, crazy prices because of the credit story. But now you'd had good credit with them. I'm sure he was able to get you a better deal.
Yeah, and so I own it. I own it now. And
so you're financing it?
Yeah. So yeah. And
did you buy it new?
So no, it's not. It's in 2019.
But it's perfect. That's the move.
And it only has 7,000 miles on it too. The guy was like, he garaged the car for most of his time that he owned it. Only one previous owner.
So he took good care of you then, huh?
What's that?
Fahad took good care of you?
He did. Shout out to Farhad at Audi. Audi Beverly Hills.
Yeah. Wow. Man, Fahad's been always so good to me and everybody that I sent him.
What do you have? You have a Q?
I have an SQ5 me.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, and I had one I had my first car, my first SQ5 through him. And then after 3 years, I didn't want to lease anymore. I wanted to own. So I was like, I think I'm just going to buy like some random car.
Yeah.
And he got me in and he was like, try the new one, the 2021. And I was like, all right. And then he's like, I'll give you a good deal, bro. Don't worry. And then when I saw the deal, I was like, well, I can't say no to that. So I just grabbed it. But I love Fahad. He's awesome.
We just did 2.5 minutes devoted to Audi. Pay us. Where's our money? Where's our money?
I'm actually going to grab, I'm going to ask for social to send me that clip so I can send it to him.
Yes.
He'll be happy about it.
Oh, he'll be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's amazing.
So I'm so glad he got you a good deal because there's like no cars out there for sale.
I know there's not. Well, that's why. That's part of the reason. He was like, you need to get, if you're going to do a 2019 model, get this one that only has 7,000 miles because by the time you sell it again, it might be even more valuable. Yeah. Because right now it's like impossible to get a car. Like they had no A5s on the lot.
Also, Mo messaged you, huh? Because Mo loves cars.
Yeah, he did. He was like, oh man, that's a baller car.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's pretty great.
That's awesome.
It's pretty great. I love it.
So we're doing questions of the audience today.
Yeah, let's do some cues, right?
Yeah.
You ready for the first one?
Tips for couples who are moving in together for the first time. I mean, I'm really the wrong person to ask because I've never moved in with anyone.
Okay, so I've lived with now 3.
Okay,
and I can tell you tips for couples who are moving in together for the first time. Like make it as equal as possible. I mean, make sure that both of you can afford the place on your own. That way you feel like you have more of, I don't know, like you don't feel like things are lopsided and that, if you have an argument, you're going to be the one to go. Like that will influence the way you treat each other, I would say. I mean, I would agree on a theme of decorating the place.
Mm-hmm.
Let one person have the majority control over that. And it's kind of fun. Like Jared and I would look at furniture together. We would shop for like paintings together and but ultimately it was kind of my decision.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier.
What about the financial aspect? Do you feel like both should pay half the rent?
I think so. I think that both, split it down the middle. And so something else that we did, we got a joint credit card.
Yeah.
So, and devote that credit card to all home expenses and then split that, whenever the bill comes every month, you both pay each. That way you feel like it's an equal thing and you're both doing this together as opposed to like you're moving into somebody else's space.
But so then how do you do that if, for example, how would you have handled that if, for example, Jared owned the spot that he's at?
Well, he does own the spot that we're at.
Okay. So then how do you, because now let's say he owns it, he has a mortgage. Now, are you supposed to pay half the mortgage? But then what about
I pay half the mortgage. Yep. He put the down payment on because at that point we knew we were pregnant and I didn't feel comfortable blowing half my savings on a down payment. So I said, if you want this place, I had been kind of pushing to get smaller places, frankly, closer to where we worked, which would have been a lot cheaper. We live near the beach, which is like about 45 minutes each way.
Yeah.
So, I said, but our decision was a little different. Like,
so put that into perspective. Let's say I have been living at my place for 4 years, and I have a mortgage on it, and this is a place, and it's a 2-bedroom and whatever, and now it's like you're ready and you want your girl to move in.
Yeah.
And I ask you, hey Jen, I think it's time for you to move in together. Let's move in with me, blah blah blah. On paper, it's my house.
Yeah.
So how would you navigate? Because also it's like, me as a person, if I've already spent the last 4 years paying for this apartment and this place that I'm at, I don't want you to start chipping in the mortgage because it's mine. So if you start paying for the
mortgage, but your name is still on the title.
No, but part of me feels like, well, if you're jumping in paying half the mortgage, you're joining into like a moment that, like, you're joining on an asset that I've acquired on my own. I don't want you to join in on that asset. That's my asset.
Well, then have her pay for the groceries or the utility bills. I mean, there are ways that you can make it a bit more equal.
But then how do you feel? Because now you don't feel like it's your home, which is kind of like...
Well, I've had bad experiences. That's just my advice based on what I've gone through. And not everyone's like, the people I was with. But I if you're in that kind of situation, do as much as you can. Like, pay for the food, cook the meals, like just do your part to make sure that you feel like things are a little bit more equal. So it's not like you're freeloading off of, your boyfriend or your girlfriend.
But would you feel like, so how would you do it?
Well, that's what I would do. I would pay for the utility bills. I would pay for any home renovations, any upgrades, any new furniture coming in. I would pay for the groceries every week.
And then you've lived there for 5 years. You've done all this. So now the place he's owned it for 9 years. You guys separate. Do you feel like you're supposed to get a cut of this apartment?
No, because your name is not in the title, and you knew that going in. If you wanted your name to be on the like to have ownership over the home, then you need to put your name on the title.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, then you also know that there's a chance when you split, you're not going to get anything. And that's kind of how it should be. Sorry, but
that's always I feel like
you work to pay to be able to afford that house. It's yours. It's your property. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always, I feel like when moving in with people, a lot of like there's always like some trickiness affiliated with that, especially when it comes to like money. And you'd be surprised, like there's a lot of women, maybe it's just LA, that feels like a man should pay for the whole rent. Like
that's LA. That's
LA, right?
That is the most LA thing that I've noticed about this place, honestly, is that women it's true. They do expect sugar daddies all the time. Like, even if they're the breadwinners of the home, like, what do you want? I don't know. I'm sorry.
There are men too that don't want their women to pay the rent because they're like, no, that's a man thing to do. I don't know if it's because there's like some type
provider
of
being like the provider.
Yeah, but I feel like deep down there might be some type of like financial it's financial.
What was it called? Financial abuse?
I don't know if it's abuse, but it's kind of like, nah, I'm paying for everything because you can't go anywhere without me.
Well, that's control. That's its own form of abuse. Yeah. So I would say so. There's definite there's like emotional, physical, sexual, financial abuse. That all falls in the category of like one person needs to have control for some reason over another human.
Yeah.
And that's not how life works. So yeah, you got to figure that out. Like if it's just your ego talking and you just want, to be able to pay for everything. So you feel like you have some sort of ownership or stake or control over that person, then
that's pretty toxic. Yes.
That's real toxic. Yeah.
Yeah.
To protect yourself from that, I mean, like I would, if you were in a committed relationship, you feel like it's important for you to have an ownership stake over the home or the condo, then fight to get yourself on the deed.
But then honestly, one thing if I was in that position and like I ask you to move in, and you're like, okay, I'm down to move in, but I want to be on the thing, like on your home, to show that I'm also a part owner, and I've already kind of somewhat paid part of it, like whatever on my own, I would probably say no. And I would say, here's what we can do. I'm going to put this place for rent so it pays itself. And then you and I are going to buy our own stuff that we can do 50-50 on.
That's also a solution. 100%. That way you have property.
You have your own asset and it's yours, and
you have an asset. Exactly. It's yours. No one can fuck with it.
Exactly.
And then you create something of your own with that person.
Which I actually think that's awesome.
I think it is too.
For couple to actually
a very good idea.
Build their own asset together. And I think that's a nice stuff. That's like motivating.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like too many lazy people in LA. And I would say probably, I don't have the experience, but I would also say if you're moving with your partner, you need to probably make sure that this place you're moving in is big enough. Because I keep hearing of people that are living with their significant other that says, man, I don't have an inch for myself. Like I wish I had an extra bedroom where I can just like go and be on my own for a little bit.
Sure, yeah. Like a guest bedroom or like a place where like if you're arguing, you can just go to decompress and step away or take a nap.
It's always about the argument for you. I'm talking about it. What if you're in a great, happy relationship and you just say, hey, I'm going to go take an hour over there and play PlayStation.
Like take a nap. I said take a nap.
Yeah.
You know, play video games, which by the way, oh my God.
Oculus?
So, no, I'm just telling you that like I have become obsessed with VR.
Oh, yeah.
Like, do you remember how I got Jared that virtual reality, the Oculus headset, and I now play it way more than he does.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm really good at murdering people. Like, I'm so good. I'm a fucking assassin. I'm so good. That's fun. I'm so good at killing people.
Oh yeah. Do you see?
Yeah, I'm good at I can stab. I can shoot. I can slice.
Per our last conversation, if this was taken out of context and put in trial, you'd be in deep trouble.
I would be on trial right now.
Mrs. Lammers, is it true that you said, and I quote, I am so good at murdering people? You said that, right? You said that,
right? Am I reading that right?
You did, right?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Okay, so question number 2. Emily asks, what's the difference between really liking someone and when what you feel is becoming love? How do you know when it's more?
Oh, Emily, asking the age-old question.
So I actually, man, I'm sharing a lot these days in these podcasts.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't know when or how, but I remember specifically the time when I realized I was in love with my girlfriend.
And yes, like such as, tell me.
It was probably the most inappropriate time.
Was she taking a poop?
To realize it. No. There was this thing where she went through surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Elective. Nothing too serious, and I had to go. Oh yeah, I was going to New York because it has planned that I was going to New York to meet my dad, and I was going with one of my best buddies, Kyle. We're gonna go watch the UFC, and my dad was gonna meet us.
Yeah.
And I remember she was, I was over here. I was with her through the process, then picked her up with her mom, and then we just left her on the couch. And the poor girl was like, full of whatever medicine you have that just makes you all like, pain pills that makes you all gloomy and foggy with the band-aids. And she's just kind of like in and out of sleep. And I had to leave. Like I stayed as long as I could. I really had to go. And I remember, I don't know, the feeling I had. I looked at her. I was like, oh yeah, I love this girl.
And then that's really sweet.
I think the fact that I left leaving at that moment just made me realize it.
Aw.
When did you realize that you loved
Well, I can tell you when Jared realized that he loved me.
Okay. I'm also interested in when you realized.
Yeah. Mine's a little bit more poignant than his is.
Okay.
For him, it happened very early on in our relationship when he had a sleepover at my place and I farted myself awake.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
That was the moment. It is disgusting.
You
But
farted.
it wasn't the fart. It wasn't the fart that did it. It was my reaction to the fart.
So you farted, woke you up.
Yep.
And
Farted,
then
woke myself up, and I was like, did I just? And he was like, I'm like, did you hear that? And he was like, no. And I said, I know. I was like, no. Just like screamed into the pillowcase. I wanted to hide from my own body. Like I wanted to retreat into my own, like I wanted to crawl up my own butthole and just retreat into my own body and just not exist anymore. And that was the moment that he said he realized that he loved me. For me, it was much different. I realized that I loved him after I met his family.
Okay.
And his mom was showing me like old embarrassing photos of him, just the same way my mom has old embarrassing photos of me. And I was like, I love this man because he was raised exactly the same way that I was raised.
Okay.
But
I feel like there's always I feel like it's always kind of like a weird thing when somebody loves their partner, but their partner's not there yet.
Yeah, right? I feel like that's usually how it is.
Yeah, but like, what are you supposed to say? Because I feel like if you as a partner feel the need to say, I love you, right? Because it makes you feel good, but your partner isn't there yet. It puts your partner in a position where you're like, he's like, he or she is like, and then usually the person who said, I love you always says, you don't have to say it back. You don't have to say it back.
Yeah, they always say that. And
it's like, yeah, but I feel like I kind of do now.
Like you have to. Have you ever done that? Have you ever done the pity love?
No, but I remember my first girlfriend ever. I told her before her, and she didn't say it back. And I told her, and I was like shaking because I was so scared. And 17.
Yeah.
And we were walking outside, and I told her, and then I think, no joke, like 3 months later, we were at this house party. We had a room upstairs. We were sleeping, and I remember that's when she said it too. Yeah, and it was great. It was great. I wasn't hurt by the fact she didn't. Actually, at the moment where I said it, I felt relieved that it was out. And then when she did say it, because she was ready to say it, it felt great.
Yeah, so you weren't like offended, or you didn't feel like you were putting yourself out there, and she wasn't. When it comes to saying the I love you, that's always a risk, though. You have to like go into that knowing that the person might not say it back or might not be ready yet. Yeah. Like Jared knew, he knew that he loved me like a while before I realized that I loved him. Because it was just going to take me a little bit more time, but he just would look at me and I'd be like, what? Like, what's going through your mind? Like, what are you thinking about? What? And he was like, you'll know someday. And that was what it was. He didn't want to say it yet because
in the movies, this is exactly like in the movies.
Yeah, it was real sweet, real sweet.
So we haven't really, we really haven't answered the question because
we really haven't. That's I was just about to.
Difference between really liking someone and when you feel it's becoming love. How do you know when it's more? I think when you know it's more, you just know.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of know, right? If you have to like, I'm not sure if I do, then it means you're not.
Well, for me, like the standard that I've always had is if I'm with this person or if I'm not with this person, would I still want them to be happy? Yeah. Like you want their happiness above anything else, regardless if you guys are together, I
know, but I feel like you could still love someone. And if they break up with you, be like, fuck this. I hope you're miserable because you
sure, of course.
And that comes out of you loving them.
Well, that's some pettiness, but it depends on the ending. It depends on what was done to you or what you did to the person. I don't think
you would say that's the difference for you. The difference between really liking someone and loving them is like whether you are in their lives or not, if you want them to be happy, that means you love them.
Yes,
that's a difference. Okay,
that's just the common thread that I've noticed for all of my loving relationships.
For those of you who are not watching, who are listening, Jen now has a baby on her lap.
Yep. He needs to get used to the light. Hi, honey bun. You need to meet him. When are you gonna meet? When do you want to meet your unkie? Jules?
Yeah, actually, I need to. One day I'll grab my bike and I'll head to Playa Vista.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, we can meet up. We can have some lunch.
Yeah.
Bring little baby E.
Yeah, hell yeah. Be down for that.
What do you think? Would you like that?
Okay. So I guess that answers that. What's the difference between liking someone and I guess if you feel like you want them to truly be happy when you really love them?
Or it's just a feeling that you might have, you know? For you, you said you really can't put that into words, but
I'm trying to see the difference between really liking someone. I think to me is when I just start to when I start to assume stuff, like if it's already assumed that you can count on me for this, like if you don't have to, it's like you say, hey, I have this and this going on. If I'm already assuming that I will be part of this and that I will help you regardless, then to me, that's kind of like, oh no, that's because I love this person, right?
Yeah.
If it's then I would automatically put myself out of there. And then if this person asks me, then I'd be like, yeah, sure, I can. But automatically assume, they'd be like, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
I feel like, loving someone is encouraging them to be themselves, regardless of how that kind of impacts you. Like just respecting them and encouraging them to be their full selves.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess we're going to end here because we have a baby to take care of.
He smells like absolute shit and he smells like dog shit.
Great. Go clean your baby.
All right.
Go clean your baby.
Until next time.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
A Huda Media Production.